Hello guys, I hope that you are doing fine these days. Welcome again to an English class, but this time it's online. For today's lesson is going to be about conditional type 0. Maybe some of you have an idea about conditional, so we're going to review it and have more details about conditional. We're going to have a look at the definition of conditional type 0. We're going to have a look at the definition of conditional type 0. Next, we're going to see when to use it, the situations where we can apply conditional type 0. Again, we're going to know and learn how to use it. I mean the structure, the rules, etc. And we're going to have some examples for more clarification. Finally, we're going to go to the practice phase. So what is conditional type 0? Basically, it's an idea that something depends on something else to happen. So it's two ideas or two actions. One is depending on the other. So we need a condition. Or to get a certain result, you need a condition or a requirement. There is a question, how many types of conditional are there in English? Basically, there are 4 types, type 0, type 1, 2, 3, and mixed. So we can mix between, for example, type 0 and type 1. So this is an advanced level. So let's focus more on type 0 because this is our main concern. When do we use conditional type 0? We use it when we talk about facts that are generally true, I mean scientific facts, or a condition that always has the same result. For example, if you heat ice, it melts. Sometimes you use it when you have a request. If you go to the kitchen, please bring me a cup of tea or a cup of, maybe a glass of water. Sometimes we use it to give advice. If you want to be safe from coronavirus, stay at home. Let's talk about the rule. How can we form conditional type 0? It's very easy. You need if plus simple present plus simple present. So the first action or the first sentence, it is the condition, and the second one is the result. So if plus simple present plus simple present. So the first one, that is the condition, it is always attached with if. That's why we call it if clause. The other one is the main clause. Now, a question for you guys. What is the difference between if clause and main clause? The answer is that the main clause, that is number 2 or the result, it has a meaning itself. But the if clause, it doesn't have a meaning. It needs something else to be finished, to be complete. So the main clause is an independent clause. It is independent. It has a meaning. It gives a sense. But the main or the if clause, it doesn't have a sense. It needs the main clause to be completed. That is the difference. Now let's go to some details so that the idea becomes more clearer to you guys. So if you eat poison, you die. So we have if plus subject plus verb in the simple present plus another subject plus verb in the simple present. If you don't sleep well, you get tired. Now let's talk a little bit about if clause and the main clause. So the first one, if you eat poison, you die. If clause, it is if you eat poison. The main clause, you die. You die, there is a meaning. If you say to someone, you die, it means that you die. So there is a meaning. But if you say to someone, if you eat poison, and you stop. So the sentence is not clear to you. Okay? So that's why the if clause needs the main clause. But the main clause doesn't need if clause. If you don't, let's go to some examples. If it doesn't show up In 5 minutes, I leave. If you press the socket, the light turns on, somebody said. Now let's go to practice. If he turns off the light, it will be dark. No, this is not true. It is dark. Why? Because we said that earlier that the main clause and the if clause should be conjugated in the simple present. If something happens, something else happens. That's it. Now let's go to practice, guys. What you need to do is to match sentences number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6 with A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. You have to match these sentences so that you come up with a full sentence. Number 1, if you heat water, it boils. So this is something that is scientifically proved. If it is freezing cold, it means it's winter in Poland. Number 3, if the man is not breathing, he is dead. Number 4, if the moon shines, yes, it means it's night. Number 5, if you leave metal out in the rain, it gets rusty. And number 6, if you put money into a machine, it gives you a ticket. Another exercise, fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verbs between brackets. So what you are supposed to do is to give the correct form. So remember the rule, guys. So we have if plus simple present plus simple present. What you need to do is just to conjugate the verbs between brackets in the simple present. But pay attention, is it affirmative or negative? So number 1, if I wake up, that's it. If I wake up late, I am late for work. If my husband cook, he burned the food. What is the answer? Yes, it cooks and he burns the food. If my husband cooks, he burns the food. That's something that is generally said. If Julie doesn't wear a hat, she gets sunstroke. And the last one, if children not eat well, they healthy. So the verb is don't eat well, they are not healthy. This is the end, guys. Thanks for watching.